Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. It is myself, the smooth-skinned, smooth-haired, smooth-talking bar steward, and my red-headed brethren. It could only be the Rearview Mirror show with myself, Mark, the alien guy, and my daughter, the Taylor, or Disney's Brave.
I've just sent you an email with what I'm wanting to do for this radio show.
Okay. You don't see Disney's Brave and Taylor in the same room. That's all I'm saying. I know I've still got that photo of you when you were younger and you look just like Brave. So that's all I'm saying. You may be a superhero. You may have influenced a generation of little girls who want to grow up and have red hair and be able to shoot arrows. So right on, sister.
Good.
Right. Well, anyway, I have no idea what's been going on the last week. What have you been up to?
Pokemon hunting?
You've been Pokemon hunting. And apart from Pokemon hunting, have you been doing anything else? Anyway, on with tonight's show.
I haven't. I've literally just been going out every day for like an hour catching Pokemon.
You've been Pokemon hunting and napping, haven't you?
I haven't napped for like the past 4 days.
Are you feeling all right?
No, I'm tired.
Because you need a nap. Right. So I'm sticking with the top tens for now, purely because in the world of the supernatural, not that much is happening. Although the CIA have released, what was it? Over 3 million documents on UFOs and stuff. Hang on, and if you just bear with me, I will tell you exactly what it was. They have released 13 million pages of declassified documents online, all about UFOs and psychic experiments.
That's weird. I only just got a notification that we're live, so it makes sense for us not to get the first views in the first 3 minutes, because I only just got the notification.
This is very, very true. By the way, don't know if you know, I already sent you 2 lists.
Well, I think mine are better. I didn't actually see what you sent me.
God's sake. Right. Well, we'll do one of mine and one of yours. Yeah?
Okay, well then.
Evening, mate. Wayne's watching.
Hello.
Wayne's World, party on! Sorry. Right. So, we will start with 10 real objects with alleged supernatural powers. And if my daughter would like to go to the link that I sent her hours ago, I sent her 2 links. Has she looked at them? Has she buggery? So right now she's tapping, looking like Karen, who wants to speak to the manager. You got it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. So I'll start. Number 10. In at number 10.
Wow.
Yes, I do like that keyboard, but yes, it's lovely. But I'm, when Joseph and the amazing Technicolor computer there.
Just wait. There's more.
She's frozen. Hiya, Andy, mate. You all right?
Look, can you see this? The thingy lights up.
Mouse. Cosmos table.
Yeah. And his headset band.
I recognise those trousers. I recognise. Get back to the Star Wars pajama bottoms you've got on, young lady.
Yeah, we'll go back to these.
Yeah, hang on. Putting the top 10 list on hold just for 1 second. Wait. What's that pair of Star Wars pajama bottoms you got on?
The ones I'm wearing?
Yeah.
Sheldon's pair.
Sheldon's pair.
Sheldon's pair. You can go in your drawers right now, and I guarantee you have a pair in your drawers.
Those are identical to mine.
Yeah, because the day that you got yours, like 4 years ago, Sheldon and I went out and got a pair for him.
Oh, for God's sake. Right, anyway, in at number 10. Right, these are items all around the world. Some are really old, some aren't. That basically people, when people get things and go, it's got weird power to this. Like they reckon the Spear of Destiny has got power in it. Splinters from Christ's Cross are supposed to have power in it, etc., 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 etc. Right. So we'll start at number 10 on the list of.
You're frozen. You keep freezing.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Right. Do you know? I will say the internet's been terrible the last couple of days. I don't know what they've done, but it was working really fine. Right. So in at number 10, Drake's drum, as in Sir Francis Drake. Now we all know Sir Francis Drake. Sir Francis Drake.
Oh.
Now, we all know Sir Francis Drake was an explorer, an adventurer, and a pirate, unfortunately, and he was a bit of a slaver as well. And he died in, quite frankly, and this is a bad joke, a really shit way. He died of dysentery. In 1596, off the coast of Panama, and his remains were buried at sea. His effects, however, were sent to his childhood home of Buckland Abbey. And among his possessions was a small leather snare drum of the sort that you would have beaten to signal an attack. So it was his drum that used to get beaten off regularly. The drum basically is not thought to have had any particular significance to Drake. However, along with the drum came a story. And it said that and this is a similar sort of story that you hear around Arthurian legends. It's said that when England's in peril, the drum will beat of its own accord as a warning. And should anyone beat on the drum to call him home, Francis Drake will return from his watery grave to protect his country. Now, that's exactly the same as the legends about King Arthur and his knights that are in a crypt somewhere underneath Glastonbury Tor. And that if the country's ever in peril, they will awake and come save them. There have, however, been several reports of the drum beating on its own accord. The original short-ass terror himself, Napoleon, is said to have heard it when he was brought into the nearby harbour. We're talking about the little tiny fella who had a massive attitude problem. It is said to have sounded at the outbreak of World War One and during the evacuation of Dunkirk. It's also said that when the German Navy surrendered in 1918, they heard a drum beating, although there was no drum aboard this particular ship. Whether this was Drake's drum or another supernatural musical instrument, it's unclear. Recent attempts to remove a replica of the drum from Buckland Abbey were strongly opposed, which is just as well, because the legend says that if the drum is removed from the abbey, England will fall. So that's not a good plan, is it? What do we make of that?
No.
Yeah, the real one. I remember it being in the Sun years ago. The one was removed.
There's a really bad feedback when I speak. Are you on your Facebook on your phone or something? Because I can hear me talking.
No. There's no feedback this way when you talk. We can hear fine. Oh, hi, Ellen. Hang on.
I already said hello.
Oh, okay. Right. So yeah, what do we make of number 10? Apparently, the cat's got his own idea about it. We're not talking to you, young man. We don't know what Mau 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 is. What do you make of it?
Mau Mau Mau.
The original drum was taken away for conservation. So, do you reckon there's anything to go with the story?
I reckon that's my mug.
Do you reckon there's anything to go with the story?
I mean, all stories come from somewhere. I don't know if maybe because he was a pioneer, I guess. So maybe they just made up a story to keep him living on after he died.
What do you guys in the chat room make of that? Sir Drake Drum. Do you reckon
I only
that
say pioneer because he was a slaver. So
he was a slaver and a pirate, but because he did it in the name of sorry, I just saw Wayne put Wayne. Because he did it in the name of England, it was okay. It's okay. You can have those people. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, number 9. You can read number 9.
What was it? Baby's chair? Baby's stoop chair.
That was Busby's stoop chair.
I said babies.
No, Busby.
Thomas Busby was an unpleasant man. Just 1 second. I have a dog fight. Enough. Enough.
Are the pugs attacking each other?
Yes.
They're not being wound up by anybody.
No. Yes. Thomas Busby was an unpleasant man. He drank too much and was often violent. In 1702, he was convicted of the murder of his father-in-law and, according to custom, was hanged and then gibbeted at the crossroads. His corpse was directioned to be suspended from the gibbet or stoop.
Do you know what a gibbet is?
A chair.
No. You know when you see things like Pirates of the Caribbean, sometimes you'll see like men who've been hung and this, that, and the other, and there's that metal framework with a skeleton inside it. That's like the shape of a man. That's a gibbet. That's a gibbet.
Oh, okay. Ugh. I guess it was 1702. Anyway, or stoop as it was known in the local dialect.
The nickname for a gibbet was a stoop in the area.
Until it decayed. Near the stoop was a roadside inn. It soon became known as Busby's Stoop Inn. The inn was said to be haunted by Busby's ghost. In particular, Busby appeared to take
exception.
Okay, I thought it was that. Exception to people sitting in one particular chair. World War II pilots stationed nearby thought the chair was unlucky, and several fatal accidents in the 1970s appeared to have happened to people who dared sit in the chair. In 1978, the landlord of the inn, out of concern for his patrons, and maybe in order to attract more of them, donated the chair to a local museum with the condition that no one should ever be allowed to sit in it. Despite regular offers from ghoulish buyers who want to purchase the chair and sensation seekers who want to sit in it, the museum has refused to sell. The chair is on permanent display, suspended from a wall. Thomas Busby's reign of terror appears to be over.
And it's just a wooden chair with. Let me see if I can get it up in. I'll be able to show you.
I'll do it. I'll do
it. You do. It's literally just a wooden chair. There it is. That's the chair. Just a plain old looking wooden chair. But I've heard of. I mean, what do you make of it? Because I've heard of things or people attaching themselves. I mean, you know yourself. Because you're. Sorry.
My hand is brushing. Look.
So when. Right, you're a clairsentient and clairvoyant. What do you think?
I told you. I'm not sure if it was on here or if it was just in person. I said that I believe everything that once had an energy has the ability to hold energy.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there.
It being a wooden chair, it would not surprise me if it does hold the energy. However, he was not alive when the chair was there.
But what it hasn't said is, I mean, it said that he was a notorious drinker and wife beater, etc., 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 and he was hung near the pub. What it hasn't said is, was that his local? Is that the pub he used to go to?
Exactly.
And if it was that the chair he used to like sitting in? Because if it was, that would explain why people. It's like the Troughs in Chard. Now, for those of you who don't know of it, the Troughs has been on Most Haunted, if I remember rightly. But I used to live in Chard, and so did my daughter there. And if you go into the Troughs, if you go into not the front bar but the back bar, there's a big fireplace, and you'll see a gravestone in the fireplace, and in that fireplace, a little wooden box was found with the skeleton of a Trough in it, it's like a crow. It's like a crow, but there's a chair in there. Same thing. People don't like sitting in, and they say that an old boy. Used to be an old boy going there all the time. That was his favourite chair. And if you go in there and sit in that chair, you feel icy cold. You just, ooh, you know that feeling. And
I'll tell you what, there are lots of spooky things in the Trough, but they mainly just want to buy you drinks. So I wouldn't be too scared.
Yeah. Boom there, Andy. But yeah, we've gone past the drum, mate. We're talking about a chair. But yeah, badumts. I don't know. It does, like I said, it doesn't say if he goes in the pub, but if he was hung from a gibbet right by this pub, and he was a notorious drinker and pisshead and wife beater and whatever else, I would have thought it'd be taken as read that he went drinking in there. If so, it's possible. I don't see why not. What do you lot think? Yes, you, the horrible people. Yes, you lot. Watching this. Hey?
Said viewers at home, what do you think?
So the viewers at home, what do you think? Brave has just asked you, what do you think? Don't make her get the bow and arrow out. Word.
Look at this. Since I've been holding Finley so much. Yeah, you ready?
Go on, mass goals. West side.
And then this side, not so much.
Right. Do you know what? We ask you lot what you think. Did nobody? Right. Stuff you.
Maybe we don't care what you think.
This one now. This one I've heard about lots of times, and unfortunately, it used to be a real thing, and people actually thought that this thing would do this. Now, as you may or may not know, if you don't know, then you've been living in a cave. But was he hung there, or was his body just put in the gibbet as a warning to others? He would have been hung in the town square.
No, he was hung and then taken down and put into the gibbet.
Yeah, he would have been hung in the town square and then put in the gibbet, which was hung near the pub. And Wayne says his spirit may have taken a shine to a person that sat in the chair as his energy passed to her. Possibly, or it was his favourite pub.
I prefer that maybe there was a pirate that was sat in the chairs as his body was paraded past. Maybe he like connected and it was like his grandson, and he was like, "Oh yeah, mate, I'm gonna get you." And then instead, his spirit went into the chair and not the grandson. So the grandson's just roaming free, and then he used to sit in the chair, and he's like, "Oh, that feels like granddad." He didn't used to sit in his granddad's lap. I just meant.
Didn't think that one through too well, did you? So basically,
I might have got carried away.
What we're saying is his spirit passed to a chair, and anybody he didn't like, he'd make them have piles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Dear. Let's move on to number 7, the Hand of Glory. Now, the Hand of Glory. I've heard this before, and it was a real thing, and it was a real belief. But there's one left, and at the moment, this particular one, the Hand of Glory, is in a museum in Whitby in Yorkshire. And as you know, we live in Yorkshire, on the east coast, so we might have to go and see that somewhere. But Whitby Museum holds the mummified remains of a human hand, which is known as the Hand of Glory. And I will just show you what this horrible thing looks like. Hang on a minute. Ooh, now I need to go back onto the page so I can see what I'm doing. Oh, hang on.
Dad, that's me.
Yeah, hang on. There you go. Right, can you see it?
I will also show them because I think yours is quite not very clear.
All right, you show them. It literally looks like a dog's chew toy. That's not the Hand of Glory.
Oh, whoopsie. Sorry, my bad. Oh, you could have warned me.
It looks like a dog's chew toy.
A warning to people: it's a real hand. It's a human hand.
It could be Maradona's hand now these days, couldn't it?
I wondered why you said Whitby Museum, because the cup was from a museum in Wales or something like that. I was like, why is this in Whitby?
Yeah, I'm going to do that one in a minute. I just wanted to get to do the hand first because I thought the hand was really cool. Anyway,
Whitby.
Mummified remains of a human hand known as the Hand of Glory and not Maradona's hand. Now, the Whitby hand was discovered in the early 20th century hidden inside the wall of an ancient thatched cottage, and it's thought to be the last example of the Hand of Glory in existence. Now, this is the legend behind the Hand of Glory, and as I say, I've heard this before. It's also been in several console games. Now, it's supposedly formed from the pickled right hand of a convicted criminal who was cut from the gallows, and it was cut from him when his body was still fresh. The Hand of Glory can be used as a candle by burglars, with the fingers being dipped in a special wax and set alight. If a finger refused to catch fire, it meant that someone in the household was awake. The light cannot be extinguished by water or by pinching it, and can only be put out by being doused in blood or blue milk. I don't want to know what blue milk is. All I say is it sounds vile.
Mother's milk.
The hand was not. Say that again?
I said mother's milk.
Mother. Oh, blue milk. Anyway, the hand was not only a perpetual source of light, but it was also cheaper than paying a lookout, and it could be useful. And that's the legend I've heard. They used to light the fingers, and if it wasn't just if one finger refused to light, if all the fingers were lit and then one went out, you disturbed somebody, and they were just about to get up, and that if one went out, you were like, oh, give it legs, off you go.
Is someone on the Wi-Fi?
Now this is how. No, nobody's on the internet. No, it's just the internet's terrible.
Okay, well, we apologise one more time
this
for
is
the
the
internet, because I know that mine might be cutting out.
Don't worry. This is the recipe that you need to make your own Hand of Glory. All right. So first of all, you need to have the right hand of a recently executed criminal. Then you'll need to wrap it in a winding sheet, bandage, squeeze out all the blood, and put it in a clay pot. Now, after it's in the clay pot, put it at the bottom, you've got to add saltpeter, salt, and pepper. For those of you who want to season your hands, yeah. Leave it for 2 weeks and then expose it to the sun in the dog days. I was going to sneeze and it stopped. Bugger. Ugh. If you're not experiencing dog days... If you're not... Scotty, I have a whole bag of shush with your name on it.
Sorry, I just googled what Wayne put in the chat.
Hang on. If you're not experiencing dog days, then you can dry it out in an oven lined with ferns. Now, this is the tricky bit to make the wax for the candles. You can't just have any old candles or any old wax. To make the candle wax, you need the fat of a hanged man, virgin wax, and Lapland sesame oil. But you can only get Lapland sesame oil from a plant that is now extinct. Quite frankly, if you are going to be silly enough to go and burgle, use a torch and your ears. I'm not telling you to do that. But getting somebody's hand and then lighting the fingers on fire, a bit extreme. What did Wayne put? Go to Corfu and see Saint Spiridon, then if you think that's nasty. I will look at that afterwards. Taylor's face says enough for me. Okay. You can do the next one there, young lady.
It's a mummified. It's a mummy.
Sorry?
But they're like stuck like this.
Well, Saint Spiridon.
Yeah.
Oh, is that their forearm?
What do you mean?
I can see something about Saint. I'm just looking at Saint Spiridon. His miracles and relics. Right, let's have a look. Should I have the pictures there? And of course, the internet's been
Go
lovely
on
and
to
fast.
Google Images. Oh, I'll just show it.
I did,
Yeah, go on to the chat. I'll just show it.
Go on.
You see that?
Oh, right. Okay, it's a mummy. Yeah, it's a mummy.
Why are they stuck like?
He looks like he really, really needs to lie down. Yeah.
I'd say so.
Anyway,
Wayne, do you know what made him a saint? Because if so, I'd find that really interesting if you could just put it down, because I can't read it at the moment. But if you know why he was a saint, could you message? Just put in the comments. Okay, what do you want to know about then? John Dee's crystal. Ooh. Go down to number 5 because you have to help me with that.
John Dee was Queen Elizabeth's first private astrologer.
Go down to number Alchemist. 5 and help me with that word, please.
Go down to hang on, number 5. You're not doing that. Apotropaic.
Okay, yeah, I'll do John Dee's crystal. Okay. John Dee was an advisor of Queen Elizabeth I on astrological and scientific matters. He was also a mathematician and fancied himself as quite a bit of a doctor. Oh, and he talked to angels.
Yeah.
He communicated with these angels with a special mirror, which he turned to his scaring mirror. Oh, which he termed his scaring mirror. So, scrying mirror. And the angels obviously liked him, because in 1582, according to Dee, the angel Uriel, the 4th archangel and the angel of repentance. Did I pronounce that name right?
Yep.
Gave him a present, a large purple crystal.
I'm glad you said crystal.
Dee used his crystal in order to predict the future, because what else would you do with it? The crystal was passed on to his son, who gave it to his doctor, Nicholas Culpeper.
Culpeper.
Okay.
Why would you give it to your doctor? That I can't figure that one out. Why your father leaves you something and he's died, and you go, "Do you know what, Doc? Have it." Why?
I'd do that. Culpeper used the stone in his medical practice, saying that the crystal could heal his patients. However, Culpeper stopped using the stone after a demonic spirit emerged from it. The crystal was bought by the Wellcome Trust in 1937 and remains in their collection. It is not known if they have benefited from its magical properties.
See, I think the jury's out on that one because it's just hearsay and conjecture, isn't it? You know, John Dee's son gave it to his doctor, and the doctor's gone, "Do you know what? Everybody knows John because it's in their time. Everybody knows John Dee, knows what he did all this stuff. It's going to heal you." But there was no proof, anything. And it's like saying a demon came out of it. If a demon came out of it, was it a demon or was it the rather aggravated and peeved spirit of John Dee? It'd be like, dude, why have you got that stone?
Was it your reflection? Were you just looking at it and it warped your face and you're like, demon?
I think a lot of things back then were pareidolia. I definitely think a lot of things back then were pareidolia, but whether anything came out of that stone or not, I don't know. But I do think it's a pretty poor do being left that by your father and then you decide to give it to your physician.
So if you think about it, that was the 1582, round about that time, when he said, a demon came out of it.
And 1582, that was about the time that all the persecution of witches started, wasn't it? Sure it was. Yes, it was.
think it was before that.
No, it was in Queen Elizabeth I's time. But that would just be having something magical, and then the persecution of the witches started. Little Doc Habit. You see what I mean? See where I'm going with this? You're looking at when it started, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
And what does it say?
It says 1450 to 1750, so it would have been right in the middle of when it... Yeah. Which is ironic, because he was openly saying he was communicating with angels. Oh, he was a man, wasn't he? So
he was the only person, because men and women were persecuted as witches and sorcerers.
In the Salem witch trials, only one man was prosecuted.
In the Salem witch trials, yeah. But you got the Assizes of Essex, and then you've got all across Europe where they all went mad.
I was just saying this fact I learned.
Well, I think if I remember rightly, John Dee was the only man in the UK who got away with doing alchemical and non-religious practices because he was the Queen's consort.
Also, I learned a fact about the Salem witch trials. Only recently were all of the spirits of the people that were killed pardoned.
That's right, yeah. The last couple of years, wasn't it? I think at the end of the day, when the witch trials, when it went mad, going across nearly 2 centuries, I think, quite frankly, it was just an excuse to make some money. And those people it was blood money, because it was made on the deaths of nearly all innocent women and some men.
I'm sorry, Nan, if you're watching this, but one of the things that made you a witch was talking to yourself, and
boom,
Nan talks to herself and answers herself.
Oh yeah. I do occasionally. Normally, when somebody cuts me up when I'm driving, and then I have 2 conversations. So
Sheldon said this robe has 2 modes, right? This is vagina.
The Emperor.
And that's a penis.
I was thinking. Okay, I was going along the lines of Star Wars. I wasn't thinking lady parts. I really wasn't thinking lady bits, but now you've done it.
Toys that I used to love, I
can't unsee it. I can't unsee it now. But that second one looks like a baby being born. So there you go. It's a baby turtle, right? Anyway, shall I do the bull's heart, or shall I do the bull shot? All right, let's do the bull. The atropaic bull's heart. Right. It's got big iron nails going through it as well.
I think they might be electrocuted and then make it.
In 1892, a chimney sweep must have been surprised when he discovered a bull's heart hanging inside a chimney. He must have been even more surprised when he realised that the heart was speared with large nails and thorns. Not only that, but next to the heart was a toad, which was also skewered with thorns. Both objects were thought to have atropaic properties. That is, they could ward off evil spirits. Atropaic means it can get rid of evil spirits. The idea was that the heart would shrivel in the smoke so that the evil wisher would shrivel away too. That makes so much sense. Many people believe that a chimney was an entry point for evil spirits and tiny burglars. And many protective talismans were placed inside them. The pierced animal heart could have been used to punish a witch who had killed a householder's cattle. The beast's heart was cut out and impaled with 3-headed iron nails before being hung inside the chimney to roast over a fire made of ashwood. And apparently ashwood is well known for its anti-witch properties. The smoked heart would then be left in the chimney to protect the home and farm, and the roasting of the heart would cause agonizing and eternal pain to the witch. I'm sorry, most witches are good witches. They're white witches or hedge witches. And
Nanny Og.
And a nanny old granny weatherwax. And obviously Wayne has its things on his mind at the moment. Ellen, look out later. That's all I can say. You lucky girl.
Well, tomorrow's National Women's Day, so Wayne, look out later.
Oh, you look out later, Mr. Wayne. If it's International Women's Day, then it's Ellen's turn to be the guy. But yeah, you know yourself. I mean, we know a couple of witches, and they're really, really, really nice people. The hedge witches. I mean, yeah, you're going to get the odd one that practices on the dark side. And that's up to them. But majority of all witches are good people. Even just being able to hear spirits like Taylor can, speak to them like Taylor can, she would have been classed as a witch, you know. And it's silly. It's silly. We all have innate abilities up here, and in some people it's awake, and some people it doesn't. But persecuting women because you want to make a few bucks, it's not on.
Dad, you're having a serious conversation, and underneath us it says penis, vagina, and now balls. So.
I'm not quite sure.
I just got it, balls, like, because it's a ball heart.
It's a little bit slow. Not had a nap today.
I just got it.
Anyway. So what do you make of that then? Hanging some poor creature's heart in a chimney with 3-headed nails speared in it and a toad. What do you make of that?
I'd say it's disgusting and like immoral, but apparently the witch killed the bull. So that would make sense. And also, you know, we're meat eaters, so we do a lot worse to animals.
I mean, I've heard of weird things. I mean, I've heard of like shoes and things being left in walls to ward off spirits and stuff, but
yeah,
killing some poor cow, cutting its heart out, and then shoving it up a chimney.
The witch killed the cow.
No, read it properly. It said, was it put there because the witch? Was it an anti-witch thing because she killed the farm's cattle? But either way, hanging a heart in a chimney, hanging a witch in a chimney. Yeah, just not. It's not nice.
I don't want to do the witch's ladder because it looks like a noose and that's weird. So I want to do the Delhi purple sapphires.
Well, hang on a minute. What? You don't want to do the Bell of St Miura?
Well, I want to do the sapphire anyways. I'll do the bell, but I want to do the sapphire after you.
All right. Okay. Right. You go on then. You do the Bell of St Miura.
Don't forget, you skipped number 3.
That's because we've just done the heart. And number 4 is the Bell of St Miura. The heart was number 5.
Oh, sorry, you skipped number 2.
Oh, we missed the thing up here, the cup.
8, yeah.
There it is. Do you want me to do that or you do that?
You can do it. I was reading it when we first started. It looks really interesting.
The Nantios cup, and quite frankly, it's seen better days. Do you want to show the people? Because it's a lot easier for you to show them.
Yeah.
The cup. The Nantios cup. You got it? That's the Nantios cup. It's got a big bit missing out of it. It's just a wooden goblet.
Got half of it missing.
Yeah. Anyway, some people think it's the Holy Grail. And it is a wooden cup, or what remains of a wooden cup. And it was originally kept at Strata Florida Abbey in Wales. And the cup itself is now on permanent display at the National Library of Wales. The cup has long been believed to have the power to heal. And the cup's poor condition, they think, is due to the habit of they used to lend it out to the sick, the lame, and the dying. No charge was ever made for the loan of the cup, though borrowers were required to leave their most valuable asset as a deposit to ensure its return. So I would have thought in Wales there'd be a lot of sheep hanging around in an abbey somewhere. The cup was stolen in 2014, but returned safely via an anonymous source a year later. Maybe it was tomato sauce. I don't know. It is not known whether the thieves took the cup for its mystical properties, though police might have considered investigating anyone who had recently made a miraculous recovery. So, cups that have healing properties, what do you think? Do you think they can have? And that when you sip, whatever's in it? Because I reckon the Holy Grail cures the sick.
I'm not religious, so I can't really say if I believe it.
No, I'm not talking about it from a religious point of view. I'm just talking about something having healing properties. If something was done to it that could put or imbue it with healing properties. Because we're talking about objects that have supposedly got supernatural powers in them.
If it was like an old cup and someone was doing a bunch of healing remedies in it before it was taken as a Holy Grail, maybe. But I don't believe that you can make this miracle wooden cup that will heal anyone.
Or could it have been? This is just my own thoughts. Could it have been for hundreds of years gone down through a line of herbalists or something, or people?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. If they made a bunch of herbal remedies, and then they started
the
using
properties went into the cup. Yeah, It could be that. I don't think it's going to be the original Grail because I can't see how the original Holy Grail would end up in an abbey in Wales, because they can't find half the stuff that was squirreled away by the Knights Templars. So how on earth would the Holy Grail end up in Wales?
A bubo, is that what they're called? A bubo?
Huh? What are you talking about?
1 sec.
What are you on about, a bubo?
A boobar.
Boobar, that's the things that you used to play with when you were little.
That's what I look like when I do this.
Wayne says that the Holy Grail is on Oak Island. To be honest, I still think there's something on Oak Island. And there's a boobar. You see? Your stepdaughter is a boobar. Nope, she's... There you are! That's her. That's Taylor. She's lost a bit of weight since then. That was Taylor when she was pregnant. With the fat ass. Right.
Can I just say, wait. Can I just say, in Google search images of boobar, what is this?
Oh. That ain't boobar. That's definitely not boobar. That's a very cold Eskimo.
Well, someone has said in that reference, cross-reference right there, boobar is modelled after creator's husband/boyfriend's micro penis.
Anyway, you learn all sorts on these shows, don't you? The Dark Mirror show and the Rearview Mirror show. Now you know how boobar was created. It was based on somebody's very cold penis.
Well, it says question mark, so I'm just finding out if it was a man who made it. Who's Anne Wood? Let me just have a look. It's a woman. Aww.
Are you done looking for penises impersonating turtles?
She also made Teletubbies.
I got a piece of useless information for you. The one who played Poe did a dirty movie. Anyway, the Chinese girl who played Poe, she was in an erotic film. Right, let's crack on with this. The Bell of St Miura. Are you going to do this Bell of St Miura?
1 second, I'm just seeing if her husband looks like he's a grower or a shower.
A grower or a shower? So what, you trying to say he's not manscaped and he looks like he's got a prophet's beard hanging around down there?
I have a feeling that's not her husband. Just keep talking.
Gone off on a slight tangent there. We're talking about items that have magical properties in them, and you're talking about a boobar, and that boobars are based on very cold men's willies.
Yes.
Where does that have magical properties in there?
I don't know why you're talking about that. Let's talk about the Bell of St Miura. Weirdo.
Yes, Taylor, you get on with that, you bloody weirdo.
It is said that it was brought to Earth by angels. The locals, attracted by its loud clanging, came running.
So we're talking about balls again.
Whereupon no bells. And whereupon the bell could be seen descending from the heavens, when the entire village had assembled before it, the bell stopped ringing and the clapper separated from the bell and returned to the heavens, leaving the silent bell behind. It was concluded that such a heavenly bell was not meant to be rung on earth, but be used for a more holy purpose. From that time on, the bell was used not to make annoying, jangly music, but instead to alleviate human suffering, which is a blessing all round. Drinking from the upturned vessel is said to be an infallible safeguard.
Infallible
Safeguard, sorry. Against danger. It has been used to give women in labour pain-free deliveries and also to heal the sick. Where was that when I needed it? Probably with my epidural. The Bell of St Miura. I'm just getting there. Impatient. The Bell of St Miura is now held in the Wallace Collection in London, but it is not known whether it still remains its healing properties. Uh-oh.
Ellen, if you want a video to look for Deadpool and International Women's Day, because it's International Women's Day tomorrow. Might give you some ideas. Anyway, see all this about the bell descending. What do you make of that? A bell descended and the clapper did one and went back up to heaven.
I don't believe it.
No, I don't. What do you reckon to the drinking water out of it and it gives you pain-free?
I don't believe it.
Can you show everybody the bell? Yeah. Looking at it,
it looks like a normal cowbell.
It does look like a cowbell, yeah.
It's got like Norse knots on.
Celtic knots.
Celtic knots. Oh, my bad.
It's. I wouldn't have thought that thing came down from the heavens slowly, landed, and then the clapper went like that. I'm sorry. I think you'll find that clergy may have made that little story up, but belief also holds a lot, and I think that if a lot of people believe in one thing being this, if I have no idea where she's going, I think that it will heal people like a placebo. What do you think?
Yeah, but anything, like, you can give a child a Tic Tac and say it's a paracetamol, and they'll be like, "Oh, you haven't got a tummy ache anymore, thank you."
That's what a placebo is.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Anything can be a placebo, so yeah, probably.
And there you have it. We have just put that one some rights. Right. The Witch's Ladder. Can you show the people this? Because this is strange.
1 second.
When you can turn yourself back round, just if you could show people the Witch's Ladder.
That's better.
What are you doing?
Sean's headset fell because he has like a shape. It's here.
Oh yeah.
It's right where my knees are, and I knocked it.
So yes, we're talking about the Witch's Ladder. If you could show everybody what it actually looks like. It looks like it's got bits of feathers and stuff sticking out of it. But there you go. That's the Witch's Ladder. Now, in 1911, the window of a famous anthropologist donated items found in an attic to the Pitts River Museum in Oxford. The objects included 4 brooms and a piece of string. The string was about 1.5 meters long, about 5 foot, with a loop at one end, and feathers had been poked into the string along its entire length. This was the only known example of a genuine witch's ladder. The ladder was said to have belonged to an old woman, and thus a suspected witch, because of course all old women are witches, aren't they? And was thought to be used for getting away or stealing the milk from her neighbour's cows. Just shows you how ridiculous some superstitions were. Unfortunately, nothing is known about how this worked. I know there is still speculation about the purpose of the ladder. Aspiring witches today, will probably find a trip to the supermarket a lot easier. So this was used for getting away, and it's not just to do with milk, because I can remember it in some other legends. It was like a rope ladder. They kept it on them. They supposedly kept it on them, and then they do whatever they did, hung it up, and off they go. That was the belief behind it. Personally, I think that if people were suspected of being witches, but if they respected you, if you made something like that and hung it up, you'd scare the bejesus out of anybody who came near the place and they saw that hanging up, wouldn't they? Old woman's hut alone in the woods, where people are going to be complete gits. Hang a few of those up, and they're going to come in the woods and go, no, I'm not going over there. I think I'm going home now. Are you feeling much better? Or I'm not going to go and disturb that lovely old lady. Wouldn't you? You'd see that and go, fuck off.
Well, I just wanted to know, what else it was used for. And it says, it enables a witch to concentrate on repetitive chants or incantations without having to keep count. This enables the witch to focus will and energy onto the desired goal. So maybe they used it for counting, and they were like 1, 2, 3.
That's what I was on about. They were featured in the Blair Witch Project. If you had a few of them hanging up, wouldn't you? You'd just be like, my dinner's ready. You'd be gone. You'd be giving it legs, and you'd be gone. I think yes, it could have been used for concentrating and stuff, and I also think it was probably used to scare the crap out of people, so they just leave you alone.
Yeah.
Anyway. Let's get on with
very good is we have time for this one and the next one, and then we will go.
We will now do number 2 in our top 10. So number 2 of things that have got alleged superpowers or supernatural powers in them is
the Delhi Purple Sapphire.
Do you want to show them the Delhi Purple Sapphire? That is beautiful.
It looks like it's got quartz at the top of it as well, but we might find out.
It is beautiful, that.
Oh, this is a lot. The Delhi Purple Sapphire is certainly a mysterious object, not least because, despite its name, it is actually an amethyst that came not from Delhi, but from Kanpur, roughly 500 kilometers or 300 miles away. The stone was donated to the Natural History Museum in London in 1944 by the daughter of Edward Heron Allen. It was encased in several boxes.
7 boxes? How big is it?
Oh, I think like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. To make sure people didn't steal it, I'm guessing. But we'll find out. Oh, she sent it in 7. Sorry. When the last box was opened, the note that accompanied it, written by Edward Heron Allen, ensured that the sapphire/amethyst would become a star attraction. The letter addressed the reader in mourning.
As in somebody's died in mourning,
Yeah. The stone, it said, was terribly cursed and stained with the blood and dishonor of everyone who had owned it. Heron Allen alleged that the stone had been looted from the temple of the god. I don't want to butcher these names. Indra
at the siege of Kanpur.
Yeah. And had caused at least 3 deaths, as well as financial misfortune for its owners. It had even caused a renowned singer to permanently lose her voice.
Well, that's going to get somebody's attention, that letter.
Heron Allen tried to throw the stone away, but it was returned to him. He felt compelled to keep it until his death, locked safely in a secure bank vault. And he left instructions that the stone should be given away along with his letter, and that his daughter must never be allowed to touch it. He finished the letter by saying, "My advice, ... is to cast it into the sea. I am forbidden by the
Rosicrucian
oath, thank you, to do this, or I would have done a long time ago. Whether the jewel is actually cursed is up for debate. No one has worn it since, though it is still on display in the Natural History Museum." I don't remember seeing this.
See that? No, I don't remember seeing. Natural History Museum. No, I don't remember seeing it. We used to go to the Natural History Museum quite a lot in London. I can remember the bit that had all the jewels and the semi-precious stones. Yeah. There was another bit near where their shop is that had items like that, so it may possibly have been in there in one of the cases and we just overlooked it. But I personally don't remember seeing it there. But we haven't been to the museum for 5 years. So what do you make of that?
I mean, if you want to get people into a museum, that's the way to do it.
I think whoever wrote the letter, that was either done as a very good piece of advertising for the museum, or to get bums on seats, or the guy genuinely thought it was cursed and thought that this, that, and the other happened to it. Because it's supposed to be like that diamond on the Queen's crown. Can't remember what it's called. Star of India. That's supposed to be cursed to buggery, and anybody touches it or whatever, But the Coriol. Well, I can't remember it. But I mean, there's quite a lot of very famous jewels that are supposed to be cursed. So, least alone my family jewels.
So your crown jewels.
My crown jewels. Well, it made 2 diamonds in the rough.
Wayne said I never saw it, but then I didn't get much time to walk around.
Well, yeah. I mean, especially with that new bit. What was it? The Darwin Centre on there.
If people tried to steal it, then yes, it would cause misfortune. Years ago, just a rumor of a curse would sublimely scare people into thinking it was cursed. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're spot on there. I think back then, to be honest, the safest way to protect your valuable stuff is to say, that's cursed to buggery. I've put it in a safe so that nobody else can touch it, because if anybody else touches it, they will die. And I think, quite frankly, if you would-be burglars back then weren't the brighter folks, and they might go, give that one a miss.
I was wondering why they said sapphire in its purple.
Anyway, that's quite an interesting one. I like that. Let's move on to number 1.
Number 1. In at number 1 is
the Munlochy Clootie Well. Munlochy Clootie Well. Would you like to show our viewers what the Munlochy Clootie Well looks like? It just looks like a scratch in the ground with a load of rags around it. Right. So, Munlochy lies on the Black Isle in the far north of Scotland. It is famous chiefly for its Clootie Well. There are several Clootie Wells in Scotland, and they are built over natural springs, almost always with one or more trees growing beside them. The Munlochy Well is also thought to have had a chapel beside it at one time. A clootie, that explains so much. A clootie is a strip of cloth which is tied around the branches of the clootie tree. That explains why there was all the rags there. The well at Munlochy dates back to pre-Christian times, so we're talking pagan, when spirits were said to inhabit the well. There's a lot to be said for the old gods and the old imps and the old sprites and everything else. The Monlocky Clootie Well is supposed to be inhabited by the spirit of Saint Boniface, and the Clooties tied around the tree were supposed to honour that spirit that inhabited the well. The Clooties, the strips of cloth, would be dipped into the well, and sick people often sucked the water from the cloth strips before tying them around the tree, as the water was alleged to have healing powers. Or they sometimes washed an injured area with the rag. Those who had suffered misfortune made a pilgrimage to the Clootie Well in the hopes of changing their luck. However, the wells are not completely benevolent. It is said that anyone removing a Clootie or pinching one of those rag strips from a Clootie well will succumb to the very misfortunes that the person who placed it there was trying to overcome. So what do you make of that?
What's crazy is, in my head, I was thinking, oh, it would be cool to just tie a piece of cloth there. Never once did it cross my mind to say, oh, it would be cool to take a piece of cloth from there.
I think if you know about things like that and you go there and you knowingly take a piece of the cloth, knowing the dangers that are associated with it, then you're an idiot. But I also think that if you stumble on something like that, just in the middle of the woods and stuff, I'm savvy enough, and I brought you guys up to be savvy enough to never take anything from anything like that, because you'd look at it and go, "Oh, I don't know about that," and you'd leave it. But unfortunately, there's some people out there who go, "Oh, do you know what?" and they take
stuff like that. I would walk up to near it, look at it, and turn around. Like, that would freak me out in real life.
See, I still think there's a lot to be said for the old ways, and I'm talking like the pagan ways, hedge witch ways, and Native American ways, to be honest, because they're all sort of the same. They all believed in nature and believed in the gods and imps and sprites and goddesses and all those sorts of things that were all to do with it. And I think there's a lot to be said for that. But yeah. I think if you go to a Clootie well and you take a strip of that Clootie, I think you're an idiot. I think belief adds a lot to healing and stuff. But I also think that if you've got something like that, and it's been there since before Christ, then there must be something to it. And Wayne has said, was that local woods to my mum's has some cloth tied to trees. We were always just told sheepishly that it's there for a nature trail. There are actually, yourself, there's quite a few, and it's normally the oldest tree in the woods that you'll find things tied to. But there used to be rumours of a witch there as well. I don't see why not. But yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said for the Clootie Well. I think a lot of the stuff we talked about tonight, especially Drake's drum, I don't see why not.
Yeah.
And I think things like the cup, the wooden cup, if it's been used as a pestle and mortar for decades and it's imbued with the qualities of whatever was ground up in there, yeah, if you drink water from there, it could very well aid your health. But I also think that a lot of these things that are supposed to help your health, yeah, I like the story of Drake's drum as well. I also think that a lot of the stuff that is supposed to imbue your health or make you better has a lot to do with the placebo effect.
Right, this is what I'm trying to find. There is this tree in Kew Gardens. Yeah. Sheldon and I were like, I thought it was really interesting. Sheldon and I were looking at it and we were like, why is there a wall in it? Because there's a wall in it. I'll show you a photo.
In a tree?
Yeah. So look. You see the wall?
No, we can only see the top of the tree.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Is that a well or something?
Well, there's that, and then there's a massive metal thing that goes through it and holds it up.
Okay.
That is the last tree of something like 4 acres of trees that one of the princes, Prince Albert, I think it was, planted. That's the last one that's left. And it was struck by lightning. So back when it was struck by lightning, obviously half of it was blown up. So they built a wall inside it to keep it up and protected. And it carried on leaning so they had to put like massive metal scaffolding to hold it up. And now it's, when you go there, it's, this is a tree, yeah, this is that tree, and it was flowering when we went there.
All right. Well, there you have it. That ends that one. We have talked about items that are supposedly imbued with supernatural powers, and yes, I think my favourite was Drake's drum. I think a lot of the stuff I've known about before, especially the hand, I've read about that before, and it's always creepy, that one. Maybe that's what happened to me in a past life. Ah! Tree in the tree in Sherwood Forest has poles and wooden beams holding branches up, similar to that one. Right. Okay, well, thank you very much for watching. It's been our usual irreverent top 10 list. We'll find some more lists for you for next week. Don't forget, you got myself and Mr. Wayne on Friday with the Dark Mirror Show. And then you have got myself and the Taylor on Sunday with the Review Mirror Show. And they're both at 9 o'clock every night. Well, every Friday and Sunday, 9 p.m. All right?
Yeah.
And the story is Saint Spirit and similar to the hand. I'll have a look at that in a bit, mate. So, yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. And those of you who are watching on YouTube, be sure to leave us some comments if you liked it. And I shall say goodbye from me. And I shall say goodbye from the woman impersonating a giant pink fanny.
Enough about you. Goodbye from me.
And goodbye from my teenage daughter. No, you're not teenager. My daughter. The pain in the ass. My youngest daughter. You come back next week, Mrs. So don't you forget it. Oh, yeah. You'll see her next week because she'll be sat here. Right. Yeah, see you later, mate. See you later, Wayne. He says see you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye. Are you going to say goodbye?
I said it like 8 times. Bye-bye.
Bye.